Hello friends, welcome to another video. Today's book is Lore of the Wilds by Annalee Sabrana. I do not have a physical copy of this book. I received a free digital ARC for doing an honest review from the author herself. It won't be released until September 5th, 2023. If you guys want to check it out after you've heard my review. I only have the synopsis online, so give me a second. You'll hear my computer clicking so I can read the little blurb for you. A library with a deadly enchantment. A Fey Lord who wants in. A human woman willing to risk it all for a taste of power. In a land ruled by ruthless Fae, 21-year-old Laura Alamiu's village is trapped in a forested prison. Laura knows that any escape attempt is futile. Her scars are a testament to her past failures. But when her village is threatened, Laura makes a desperate deal with the Fey Lord. She convinces him that she will risk her life for wealth, but really she's after one thing the Fae covet above all: magic of her own. Laura navigates the hostile world outside. She's forced to rely on two Fey males to survive. And when undeniable chemistry ignites, she's not just in danger of losing her life, but her heart in the very creatures she can never trust. So the main characters are obviously Laura, and in her village she's got her aunt and uncle, and they mention a few of the kids as well. And her best friend Gray. He's the typical best friend. I'll get to those. There's something about that I like. Then I shouldn't say the two. There's several Fae. The ones that bring her to the Fae world. Okay, minor spoilers, but it's right at the beginning of the book, so not like serious spoilers. They have an earthquake in the village, and two of the Lord Fae, Lord Cyrell, and then the High Steward, his last name is Vinelake, Steward Vinelake. They find out that Laura can read Fae, so they bring her to their castle right after this earthquake because they have a library that has been locked, enchanted. No Fae can get into it. They're like, but you're human. You might be able to get into it, and you can read Fae, so go in there and find us magic books. She doesn't want to, obviously, because there's a chance that she might die going into the library. Obviously she doesn't. I know that's a huge spoiler. Oops. Spoilers. But the book wouldn't happen if she died going into the library, right? So she deals with them to get help for her village. While she's there, she's being guarded by a Fae named Asher, who ends up helping her out. She meets his friends Finadril and Ilza. I never know if I'm supposed to pronounce the S in that name or not. Isla. Isla. I'm sorry. And their dad, Griff. And that group of five, basically, Laura, Asher, Finn, Ela, and Gray, sort of help each other out for the story to do the things. I don't really want to get too much more into what happens because then I'll be getting into huge spoilers. What I like, okay, so I'm trying to be correct here. I'm hoping I don't offend anybody. So when Annalee wrote the book, Annalee is an author of color. Some people absolutely love that and they look for books by authors of color, so I'm putting it out there that this is a book by an author of color, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm making it worse when I mumble about shit like this. Anyway, I shouldn't say all of the characters. Most of the characters, she describes as having darker skin as well. I absolutely love that factor in the book. I love her descriptions. Oh, except for the ones the not fae or humans, but the other magical creatures like dryads and stuff who have skin like bark or green skin or whatever. But anyway, they're all non typical. Like you usually, and I find that that's sad. The world is sad when all the books are just typically you assume everyone's white, which isn't very nice. But I like the fact that she's done that. I also like the fact that the best friends, because Gray is Laura's best friend, but he best friends of the opposite sex, I should say, um, aren't portrayed as potential love interests, because that's overdone. They've done that in other books where the best friend is the potential love interest, which the first one that comes to mind is the Hunger Games, where her best friend is pitted as one of the potential love interests, and it's just so overdone. Like we don't need that anymore. We need the sassy best friend sidekick of the opposite sex who just loves and supports them as a friend. And it's like that with Isla as well. She's Asher's friend, but there's no romance or sexual tension at all. They're just great. I actually think Isla is interested in the same sex. Nothing wrong with that as well. And she mentions that Gray, like Laura says, that Gray isn't romantically interested in anybody. So it's kind of nice to have those off-key, not very often talked about factors of romance, the other aspects put into a book, which I really enjoyed. It's different, and there's topics that aren't really talked about very often, so it's kind of nice that they're thrown in there. Like I said, the descriptions are great. The whole book is in first person. Is it first person? Yes, first person. Mostly from Laura's point of view. Pretty sure the whole book is from Laura's point of view. Yeah. Oh, it was the other book. The book I read before that was from different people's point of view. This one's first person, all from Laura's point of view. Trying to remember all my stuff. I didn't notice any serious plot holes yet. It is the first in a series, possibly a duology or a trilogy, but we're going to have to wait for the next ones because this one isn't released till September. So it's probably not going to be till next year till we get to see the second one. And I'm a little disappointed because all these people are getting me hooked on these books and I have to wait for the next one to come out. I didn't feel like the plot was overly predictable and I felt like it was evenly paced. The age, I would say, is 18 plus. There is some spice. It is slow burn romance, but in a good way. I would give it 2 out of 5 peppers for spiciness. The spice might kick up in the next book. We'll have to see. She has some minor descriptions in the spicy category, but not as detailed as some of the spicier books I have read in the past. Still good though. Still gave me tingles and all the happy feelings. There's definitely other emotions involved, like sadness, when her village has that earthquake and you just feel so sad for them. And that's right at the beginning, but you already feel attached to the characters and then the people. There's definitely some twists thrown in at the end that I wasn't expecting. Maybe someone else could have predicted it, but I didn't. It threw me off. Wasn't expecting it. Definitely threw me off. I would say it's the friends or enemies to friends to lovers trope, as well as a little bit of forced proximity trope. I'm not going to spoil who the potential people are for lore. Obviously, you could probably figure that out on your own. I've only mentioned a few fays so far. So you could probably guess. It ends on a cliffhanger, and it ends towards where it's leading to what the next book is going to be about. I enjoyed that. It sucks being on a cliffhanger and not being able to read the next book for a year. I'm hoping Anna Lee does the same thing with arcs, and I can get an early arc for the second book as well, because I'm super excited. As you can see me talking about being super excited about it, I absolutely love this book. I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. Exceeded my expectations. The writing was great, the plot was engaging, the characters are complex and you can see them grow and change throughout the book. Emotionally moving. Definitely a page turner, but something I don't know if I'll reread in the future. It depends on my mood and if I have time to. With a lot of the books where I really loved and I want to reread, I don't know if I'll get to it or not. We'll see. It was a short read. I could read it in a day, 5 or 6 hours, but that depends on the person's level of reading. Fast, if you're a fast reader or a slow reader, doesn't matter. Read however speed you want, as long as you're enjoying the book. That's all that matters. Unfortunately, there are no dragons in the first book, but who knows, there may be dragons in the next one. We will have to see. I highly, highly, highly recommend Lore of the Wilds. Release date September 5th, 2023. Check out Anna Lee on social media as well. Her Instagram tag is literary_queen. I follow her on Instagram. She has good content. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that review, and I will see you all in the next video.